Good morning, St. Joseph Angels. It is March and it's time for our new virtue word. Our virtue word this month is the word temperance. That might be a new word to most of you. It's not a word that we use in our everyday conversation. So take a close look at it. Temperance, how to spell it, what it looks like. And what it means is that you're going to enjoy things in a proper, balanced way. You're going to have a healthy amount of something. Even if it's something good, you still need to have a healthy amount of it. So when we think about temperance, a lot of times we think about food. So having a healthy amount of food. So you have a piece of cake, not 5 pieces of cake. Or you have a cookie, not 10 cookies. So we think about Cookie Monster from Sesame Street, and he's eating cookies. He's always just shoving cookies in. He does not have the virtue of temperance because he's having too many cookies, right? So a lot of times we associate the word temperance with food and eating a healthy amount of it. That could work the opposite way too. So temperance would be if you're not eating enough of something. So you have healthy food on your plate, you have your fruits and your vegetables and all the things that are healthy for you, but you're not eating enough of those. That also isn't showing temperance because you want to have a balanced diet, or you want to have a healthy amount of good food to eat and a healthy amount of food that is more for fun, like cookies and cake, that aren't necessarily good for you, but they're okay to have as long as you have them in a proper amount. But temperance isn't just about food. Temperance is about having a healthy amount of anything, right? So we might talk about video games or electronics. So playing video games, Fortnite, all the things that you guys like to play, those aren't necessarily bad for you as long as you're having them in a healthy amount. If you're choosing to play video games all evening long, that would not be the virtue of temperance. That's too much. You need to have a healthy amount of your electronics, your video games. Here's one that I thought was really interesting. We're going to talk about a saint that struggled with this, but talking. Okay, so think about yourself. Do you talk too much? Talking in itself isn't bad. In fact, it's great. It's a great way to communicate, right? We all have to talk to communicate and have friends and all of those things. But too much talking does not show the virtue of temperance. So how can we have too much talking? Are you talking when the teacher's talking? Are you talking so much that your friends don't get a chance to talk? Are you talking at times that you should be quiet, like during quiet work time or during church or any time that you're supposed to just be listening? So too much talking is just as bad as eating too many cookies like Cookie Monster does. And I think the talking one is one that a lot of us struggle with. So really be thinking about that this month. Are you using the virtue of temperance and controlling the amount of talking that you're doing? So again, temperance can be a healthy amount of anything, even exercise, right? Exercise is good for you. It's good for our heart. It's good for our muscles. But if that's all you concentrated on is exercising and running and playing sports, and you didn't get your homework done because you were too busy playing sports, and you didn't play with your friends outside just for fun because you were too busy playing sports, or anything that would take that you're not able to do because you're so focused on that sport, that is a problem. That is not showing the virtue of temperance. Even things that are good for us, like playing soccer, have to be done in a proper and balanced way. It can't be the only thing that we're concentrating on. We get out of balance. When we hear that word balance, we think of a balanced scale, right? I don't know if you can see me, but a balanced scale. And if a scale is balanced, it sits even like this. But if we get too much of something, our scale starts to go like this, right? That's off balance. We want to be just like this. So if we are doing too much talking and not enough listening or working, or we're distracting people, then we start to get off balance. We want to be like this. We talk when it's appropriate. We listen and are quiet when it's appropriate. If we are so focused on our video games that we're not doing anything else in the evening, we're not getting our homework done, we're not going outside to play, we're not visiting with our parents, we're just holed up playing video games, we start to do this. We get out of balance, and that's all we're thinking or concentrating on. That's not the virtue of temperance. Even video games have their place, a healthy amount of them, so we get back in balance again. Okay, and food is the easy one, right? Think about lunch. When we go to lunch, You get a milk when you go through the lunch line, and maybe you buy an extra milk, so you've had 2 milks. Then you go get a third milk or a fourth milk out of the share table, right? Yes, you can have that many milks, but is it good for you? Have you taken milk, which is in itself good for you, and all of a sudden you're having too much and you're getting out of balance? Okay, those little juice cartons are really tempting, right? You can drink a lot of those. They're not very big, so you can hold a lot of them, but should you, right? What's a healthy amount of juice to have at mealtime? You don't want to get off balance. You want to keep it all a healthy amount. So everything we do, we need to stop and think, am I doing this too much? Am I watching TV too much? Watching TV is not bad, but it's bad for you if that's all you're getting done, and it's taking away from other things. Having the virtue of temperance requires us to use self-control, right? Teachers talk about that a lot. We have to have self-control. A healthy amount of talking means that we have to have self-control. So just because we can talk doesn't mean we should in all instances. Sometimes it's a time to be quiet, and we have to use self-control and be quiet during those times. That's the virtue of temperance. A lack of temperance, like we don't have temperance, it can really lead to a lot of bad things. It can lead to addiction. For example, when you're a grown-up person, you might have a glass of wine, and that in itself isn't bad for you. But if you drink too much wine, it can lead to addiction, like drugs or alcohol. Okay, so that would be bad for you. You can also get addicted to playing video games. Did you know that? Where you're so addicted to it that you can't not do it. Anything can become an addiction. Watching TV can become an addiction. You just have to do it all the time. Shopping, like you like to go to the store and buy things, but you get so addicted to buying things that you can't not buy something. Those can all become addictions, and that's because of a lack of self-control and a lack of temperance. It's the loss of self-control. It becomes irresponsible, right? So I'm so addicted to playing my video games that I don't get my homework done. That's irresponsible. I'm so addicted to talking, I can't not talk constantly during class. That becomes irresponsible because you are taking away your neighbor's chance to learn and your chance to learn because you're so busy talking. We have a couple of saints that we want to talk about. This one I put on here, Saint Teresa of Avila. She's a great saint to study about. But did you know that when she was first when she first became a nun, she was in trouble all the time because she was talking too much. Can you believe that one of our greatest saints was in trouble for talking too much? And it was taken away from her time of prayer. And it was taken away from her sister's time of prayer, her sisters in the convent with her. So she had to really work on temperance and figure out when talking was appropriate and when to be quiet and pray and listen and be a better sister to her fellow sisters in the convent. So she's really interesting to study about. The other saint you might not be familiar with, his name is Saint Cornelius. And he had a problem because when he was just a little boy, like 12, 13, 14 years old, he started getting lots of trouble. He was fighting all the time. At a really young age, he started drinking, he started gambling away his money, all these things that we associate with bad behavior, bad habits. He became addicted to them. He became addicted to all of these things. He was not showing the virtue of temperance. Eventually, he turns his life around. He ends up starting a seminary and becomes a great saint. So all of us have that opportunity to become a great saint. We just have to really learn how to live virtuously. Over here, I just have a couple of pictures for you. This is our balance. So here we have our balance scale. If it's just right, it would be straight across. That's the right amount of something. But if we get too much of something, we get off balance, and that weighs us down. So this month, we're going to really concentrate on temperance. Temperance in all of our actions. Temperance in the amount of time and energy we spend doing one thing. Is it a healthy amount? Whether that be how much we eat, how much we talk, how much we play a video game, how much time we spend on sports. Are we doing a responsible amount? Is it a healthy amount that keeps us in balance and doesn't get us all off balance. Okay, have a great day.